Okay, I'd like to call to order the June 18th meeting of the Center County Board of Commissioners. If you could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, at this time, we have time on the agenda for public comment. If anyone is here to make a public comment for any items that are not appearing on today's agenda. Okay, seeing none then, I'll move on to additions to the agenda. Any additions to the agenda that you're aware of?
None on board.
Okay. Moving on then to meeting minutes, I would take a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting held June 11th.
I will make the motion to approve those minutes.
Okay, that is second, and all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Then we have approved the minutes. Moving on, the next item on our agenda is a proclamation proclaiming the importance of gun violence prevention and supporting safe and secure firearm storage initiatives in Center County. And I know we have Carrie Gustafson, Ann Demo, and I think our Sheriff Brian Sampsell are going to speak on this item. So if you could come up to the podium if you have any.
No, you guys go first,
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead.
I always like to butt in front of the sheriff.
Yep, and I think Ashley, I don't know if you were going to speak. Okay, yeah, everyone who would like to speak, feel free to come on up and speak.
So thank you for passing the proclamation that recognizes the importance of gun violence prevention. I'm Carrie Howland Gustafson. I'm a gun owner. I'm a volunteer with Be Smart, which is an organization that promotes safe gun storage to reduce child gun deaths. So 4.6 million American children live in homes with guns that are loaded and unlocked. And among children ages 0 to 12 years old who are killed by a gun, 85% are killed in their own homes. So these are alarming statistics as we move into summer, which is a time when kids typically spend more time at home, either in their own home or friends or family members. And although this weather feels like summer has already begun, summer actually starts this Friday, June 21st, which is why June 21st is also called Ask Day. And that is when we suggest that parents and caregivers are reminded to ask, is there an unlocked gun where my child plays? Because firearms are the leading cause of death of children in America. And that is the case in Pennsylvania also, where it's the leading cause of death, even more so than cars for children. And 3/4 of school shooters acquire their firearm from the home of a parent or a close relative. And that is why it's been one of our goals to have all of the school districts distribute safe storage information as we move into the summer months. And that is something that right now only one of the 5 school districts in Center County does. So we're hoping this proclamation means that the other school districts will send out safe storage information to families. And if you read the proclamation, you'll see that there are many organizations that make gun violence prevention a priority. So my organization, Be Smart, is part of a subcommittee of the Center County Task Force, which was created to address lethal means safety in regards to suicide prevention efforts in our county. So membership on this committee includes Sheriff Sampsell, the Center County Coroner's Office, the Center County Mental Health Office, the Altoona Veterans Administration, the Center County Interfaith Coalition for Gun Safety, the Pennsylvania Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, Jana Marie Foundation, and the American Federation for Suicide Prevention. So all of these people on this committee represent groups across Center County who are working hard to spread the critical message of safe firearm storage as part of reducing suicides. And they've created lethal means toolkits, which have gun locks in them and information about safe storage. So since 2022, we've distributed over 100 lethal means toolkits and over 4,600 gun locks to American Legions in Center County, VFWs, senior centers, and gun stores. So why is this so important? It's important because 90% of suicide attempts with a gun are lethal. And we know that 1/4 of serious attempters deliberate for 5 minutes or less. So anything we can do that delays a suicidal person from access to a firearm is going to save lives. And this proclamation recognizes that important fact. So in the first 5 months of this year in Center County, there have been 5 deaths by suicide, 4 of which were firearms. So on behalf of this committee, I want to express our appreciation for passing this proclamation, which supports the work that many local and national groups are doing.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ashley Hamlin, and I'm here representing the Center County Interfaith Coalition for Gun Safety. I just would like to read a statement. A little over a year ago, we formed the Center County Interfaith Coalition for Gun Safety to combat the chilling effects of the gun violence epidemic in our community, state, and country. We believe that God calls us to fight with compassion for a society free from preventable gun violence and support any and all measures that bring us closer to that aim. And that is why we stand proudly with the Board of Commissioners this morning. When we speak of preventable gun violence, we think of the 1,262 children and adolescents who died last year from unintentional firearm injuries. We think of the high rate of suicides by gun violence in rural counties like ours, and how proper storage and security promises to lower that rate considerably. We think of the victims of gun death by domestic violence and how proper security measures could keep firearms out of the hands of those who abuse their partners. As an interfaith organization, we have developed a resource document to help faith communities build protocols and best practices to prepare their congregations for gun violence. We have facilitated discussions with faith leaders about how their congregations engage with safety measures and how we can navigate the fear that this evokes. For more information, please visit our website or find us on social media. In closing, we call on those present to make this proclamation a beginning and not an end, to bring this issue to our family, friends, community members, and legislators, to join us in our message and not to stop until, as the Hebrew prophet Isaiah says, we may all leave in joy and be led home in peace. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Sheriff Sampson?
Mine will be brief. I met Carrie several years ago, and we've been working on this together, and we're on the veteran suicide team as well. So, as a meaning for me, I'm a vet as well. Just the other day at this cruise, there was the big tent says 22, which we all know means 22 veterans die every day in this country. So, it means something to me. Steve brought guns locks last year to go through this. So. And I'm a firearms instructor as well, locally and within the office. So we teach gun safety. Safety and security is a big thing, a big part of what we do, especially for juveniles and for veterans and everybody. But I mean, I look out for veterans as well because I said I'm a vet, and also the children. I just read a statistic that last 7 years, from 15 to 22. About 1,000 kids died under the age of 5 because the gun was left unsecured. So that's a big thing. It's an easy thing to deal with when you're a gun owner. So that's all I have to say. I just wanted to point that out. That I work with Carrie on the Be Smart. She shows up with little beehives on her heads and stuff. So at different events we do in Center County. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think when we think about these numbers, like there's a child behind each of those numbers, and that's really heartbreaking to think about. I think oftentimes when families own guns, they do so because in hopes to, for the safety of their families. And I think the kind of efforts that you're promoting, like car seat safety or seatbelt awareness of the importance of wearing seatbelts, swim safety. These are the kind of efforts that with a great deal of awareness raising, you can really actually make a difference. We've seen, driving under the influence is far less common now than it used to be. People are much more aware of the importance of wearing seatbelts. So these awareness raising campaigns can actually make a difference in people's behavior because it brings it to the top of their mind so that they're more aware of that there are options like gun locks that are available, and how critically important it is to keep weapons out of the hands of young children who, simply don't have the understanding to be able to keep themselves safe reliably. So for the same reasons, we make sure we lock up medications and prescriptions and cleaning products. It's part of child safety, child safing your home, child proofing. So thanks so much for being here and for your efforts continuing to speak out on this. Commissioner Dershowitz?
I think, obviously, proper training, safe gun storage just makes sense. And although I don't have any props here, it's not as simple as going out and buying a trigger lock and resolving the issue that way. Each individual firearm has its own idiosyncrasies and ways to make it safe. So you really have to do a little research, go in. If you don't know go to a gun store or someplace where they sell the products. It might be a safe that you need. It might be a cable lock you need. It might be a trigger lock. There's a variety of different possibilities to make guns safe. But one of the simplest ways is if you have a room in your house that can be secured from, in other words, or a closet, put a lock on it and just, keep whatever you have in there and keep it separate, keep the ammunition and the firearms separated if you have small children around. Make sure that you have people trained to understand that if they do find a gun, and I'm a big proponent, if you are going to have kids around and you're going to have guns, you better show them how to unload it, how to safely carry it, how to keep their finger off the trigger, keep all the, how to keep it pointed in a safe direction. There's a variety of basic techniques that everybody should know, kind of like how to swim. I mean, a lot of people take for granted that you just get thrown in the water and are able to save yourself. Well, if you're in a situation where you find a firearm in a precarious position, then you have to have at least the capability of putting it in a safe place, or explain to your children, hey, tell an adult, tell somebody of responsible means that they need to address this. There's a variety of different things that we can do to keep not only just kids, but everybody safe. But keeping firearms locked up is really a basic element if you've got vulnerable folks in your household. So, yeah, I applaud your actions in trying to spread the word about gun safety.
And also, making it more normal to ask the question when your kids are going to a play date. I think it's really a difficult question to ask. You can feel like someone might think you're being judgmental or that you don't trust them. But if we just kind of make it a normal question to ask about whether there's any unsecured firearms, that can, keep all of our kids safer. And it's a difficult question, and I think that's why your efforts to promote asking that question are really important. So that we all, maybe we can just all expect to be asked, and that's okay. So, all right. So I think we can have a motion then to adopt the proclamation.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to adopt Proclamation 36 of 2024.
Second. All in favor of adopting Proclamation 36 of 2024, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that item has passed, and we have some proclamations here to send home with you, and we can go ahead and take a photo here. The photo's not.
Come on, Sheriff.
Come on
All
up.
right. I will only wear your beard.
Thanks for coming in.
Glad you're so supportive. We appreciate all your help.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you very much. How you doing? You're too tall. Yes, kind of center on the middle of the center county there, somewhere.
Y'all scoot over just a little this way. Perfect.
Let us know when we scooted enough.
All right, everyone's labels are visible. All right, Steve, if you could come in just a little bit that way.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you.
I'll go up to the sheriff.
All right, BT5, oh, BT gun? Oh, no. BT5. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure, absolutely.
I don't think we've met Amber.
Josh Runs, I'm with the Interfaith Coalition.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
You have stickers? I'll take a sticker. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then, moving on to contracts. We have Glenn here for some items from the correctional facility.
Good morning, everybody. First item, requesting your consideration to approve a contract with Lehigh County to house youthful inmates. This would be persons under the age of 18 who are basically ordered by the court to be incarcerated in an adult correctional facility. This is after they have an initial interest of justice hearing. Our correctional facility does not meet the sight and sound requirements per the federal guidelines. So thankfully, since I've been here in 2017, we've never had a youthful offender who we had to find housing for, but we're trying to plan ahead instead of getting caught without a plan. So this contract would be for $150 per day of the incarceration. The contract would be effective June 23rd and would remain in effect until it is terminated by either party. The second item is a memorandum of understanding with State College Medical. Under current law, we are not allowed to store methadone at the correctional facility, and methadone is needed for some of our MAT programming. So we had to have an agreement with Prime Care Medical and State College Medical for them to provide us with methadone as needed. It is transported to our facility as needed.
Okay, so they come to us.
Yeah, either they drop it off to us or we send a nurse up to pick it up. So this keeps us in compliance with the federal law. And these costs are all figured into our MAT program and our grant that we currently have. So, that's all.
So to be clear, the contract with Lehigh County is not for any particular situation. It's because we want to be prepared for
Yeah.
some future situation.
Yeah, just on an as-needed basis. Hopefully, we don't have a need for it, but if we get that call at 3 a.m. that we have a 17-year-old, we have to have a place to house them.
All right, any questions?
No, I think thank you for being prepared for what is probably a numbers game. It's going to happen to us at some point. And when
Yes.
that happens, we need to be prepared. So, thank you.
All right, then could we take a motion to add the Center County Correctional items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda?
I will make the motion to add Center County Correctional items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda.
Second, all in favor of adding those, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, then we'll have those on the consent
Thank
agenda.
you.
Thank you, Glenn. John, I'll turn this one over to you then for this CoStarz contract.
All right, good morning, Commissioners. Before you for consideration is approval of a CoStarz contract with MVE Group to install 2 duplex charging stations here at the Willowbank parking lot. This is part of a phased approach to the overall parking lot improvements. When we repaved the parking lot, we identified stalls that would meet ADA slope requirements and also would be within vicinity of the local utility grid. So the contract total includes all prep work on the site, including removal of a couple trees that are needed, as well as installation and activation of the units, and also includes a year's service through ChargePoint for monitoring of the system, as well as providing our ability to charge folks who decide to use the network.
How much does it cost to charge a vehicle per hour? Do we have any sense of that? I don't know. I know, I'm sure there's a range, but
Well, yeah, I mean, you would take into consideration what the utility costs are. So let's just say if it's an average total all-in of 14 cents a kilowatt hour, and you're putting on average 20 to 40 kilowatts of power into your car, and then whatever service fee you'd like to add on to that as well.
So we can structure this so that it doesn't cost the county money.
Yes, you can actually calculate out the return on investment for the equipment as well if you want.
And in that way, we're providing an amenity for employees and/or people who are traveling here for meetings.
Yes,
And still getting our, not having a net cost to the county necessarily.
Right, and let's just say that you wanted to add fleet vehicles, county fleet vehicles, you can actually designate and control the network to charge the county's vehicles, and possibly not even charge, to charge our own vehicles if the county were to purchase plug-ins of some sort.
Right.
So it's a very granular system that can work for employees, the public, as well as county fleet.
Great.
yeah, as long as there's a equitable service fee for the process, I'm good.
Yep. Okay. Then I would take a motion to add the contract with MVE Group to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Let's, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that item has passed. Norm, we've got you next for a contract with Center Communications.
Good morning. Consider approval of contract with Center Communication to replace the Center County Department-owned 800 trunking radios as well as the radios the prison used daily, which have all reached the end-of-life status. The cost to replace the 800 trunking radios with Kenwood radios is $269,838.78, and the cost to replace the radios and accessory with Motorola radios at the prison is $49,938. Center Communications have provided pricing at or below their state contract pricing for both quotes. The contract totals $319,776.78, which will be paid with ARPA funds.
Okay. All right.
Well, yeah, the only thing I would suggest is, when we take the other radios out of service, we save them when we have a conversation about the disposition of them. So,
Yeah, we're already in the plans to try to, figure that all out, so.
yeah, well, I think we need to be part of that
Yeah,
conversation.
we'll get them all gathered up and then we'll figure out where we're at.
Okay,
So that we have kind of an inventory of what we have,
Yeah.
what's useful, and
because I
there
think,
may be county uses for them.
well, even beyond county use, I think there's some organizations throughout the county that might be able to, many of those still have useful service life in them.
Yes.
They're just not reliable, useful service life, so we need both, so. All right,
Yes.
perfect.
Okay. All right, then, would you like to make
Yeah,
a
I
motion?
will add the contract with Center Communication to next week's consent agenda.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, then we'll have that on next week's
Thank you.
consent agenda. Thank you, Norm. All right, Julia, we have you here for MHID EIDNA.
Good morning.
Looks like
So
just
the
one
first
item,
is, I'm asking for a contract addendum with Advocacy Alliance to provide $29,000 in additional funding for incident management, transportation for intellectual disability services. So, intellectual disabilities have seen an increase in the numbers of their incident management cases, and so they are requesting additional funding to pay for those increases.
Okay. So the contract totals 55,000,
Right.
22,000 from the state, 31,000 from federal government, and 1,000 from the county to make up that total.
Right.
So the 29,000 is a,
Included in the 55.
okay,
Yeah. So that's the new total.
I
amount.
see. Okay, so we had previously had a contract, and this is just the difference
Correct.
in what's needed. Okay.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, and it is what's needed.
Okay.
It's important.
All right. Any questions, Commissioner
No,
Dershowitz?
I would make the
Okay.
motion to add that, the addendum to next week's consent agenda.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that item has passed. And moving on to adult services.
Okay, so this is asking you to consider the approval of a contract addendum, again, with Central Pennsylvania Community Action to provide additional funds that were received from the Department of Agriculture for food purchases and administrative costs for the state food purchase program. So this is what we refer to as our fifth payment. So the contract will be increased by $2,529.53, with the new contract total being $99,642.42.
Okay. All right, any questions on that?
No, I
Okay.
make the motion to add that addendum to next week's consent agenda as well.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that item is passed. Then moving on to children and youth services.
So this is a contract renewal with George Junior Republic in Pennsylvania to provide foster care residential services for both dependent and delinquent youth. The contract total is $150,000, with the county share being $60,000, and this is for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
Okay. And this is in case we need these services.
So this is actually, I believe, in anticipation for youth that we already have at George Junior, continuing to be
Okay.
at George Junior.
Got it. All right. Any questions on that one then?
No,
Okay.
and add that
Motion.
contract to next week's consent agenda as well.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that item has passed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you.
Then moving on to this week's consent agenda, could we have a motion to approve this week's consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve this week's consent agenda.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Then that item has been approved. Moving on to authorities, boards, and commission, we have a potential appointment to the Airport Authority for a term from June 18th, 2024 to December 31st of 2028.
Do we have, I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
I understand Rebecca was recommended to us from the Airport Authority. Is that how who?
So we,
Because we had several very qualified
We had a few.
candidates here.
Yeah, yeah, so if you want to review what the Airport Authority had asked for, some marketing expertise. right?
yeah, it was based on, there was a desire to bring on someone that had some marketing expertise or someone that could help promote the airport outwardly more. I don't believe that there was anyone with that particular skill set that was currently pursuing that on the board, and so recommendation was to seek someone that had some expertise in that area. And so there were several applicants that came in, and this one was reviewed by the board and was a recommendation saying that she would be a good fit.
My only suggestion is we have an incredibly skilled individual who also applied, and if we have another appointment opportunity, I would really appreciate if we revisit that, if we could possibly manage that. So I will support this appointment of Rebecca. How do you pronounce her last name? Gramella?
Gramella? Yeah. I did give her a call because I didn't know her personally, but I gave her a call when she had applied to ask her some more about what her background was.
Pretty strong marketing background.
She's got a lot of experience in the tourism industry in doing marketing for around tourism and transportation needs for. She's done some freelance work with Happy Valley Adventure Bureau, but has, in general, like a broad background as a consultant in that area.
Okay. So you think she'd be
She sounded
okay?
enthusiastic and like that this was kind of her area of expertise. So-
All right.
And we will keep the other applications on file, and then as openings come up, they would be the first to be
I would appreciate
considered.
Absolutely. Sure.
All right, I will make the motion to approve Rebecca for the ABC appointment.
I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that item has passed. Then moving on to the check run. The check that I'd like to call attention to in today's check run is to Center Communications for work on one of our 911 tower sites. We've been using the summer construction season to do upgrades to 911 towers, ensuring that they're all in good working condition. With that, I would take a motion to approve the check run dated June 14th.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That item has been approved. John, is there an administrator's report?
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay, then moving on to voter registration. As of today, we have a total of 101,452 registered voters in Centre County. Of those, 42,390 are Democratic, 147 Green Party, 597 Libertarian, 14,140 with no affiliation, and 41,163 registered Republican voters. All of the other small parties comprise 3,015, which brings us to that total of 101,452, which is up 34 from last week's report. This week's party of the week, or small party of the week, is the Independent Party, and they have 71 registered voters in Centre County. Our precinct of the week is Precinct 59 in Huston Township. They have 830 registered voters in Precinct 59. At the last election on April 23rd, they had a total voter turnout of 33% in that precinct, and they vote at the Huston Township Community Center at 1190 Allegheny Street in Julian, Pennsylvania. And we'd like to thank the Community Center for allowing us to use their building for our elections. Moving on then to announcements. Center County government offices are closed on Wednesday, June 19th in observance of the federal holiday of Juneteenth. Moving on then to executive sessions. Are there any executive sessions to report or hold?
No executive sessions to report or hold.
Okay. Our future public meeting schedule, we have our next Board of Commissioners meeting at 10 a.m. in this room on June 25th. And then Thursday of next week, we have Finance Committee meeting at 9, Salary Board and Board of Commissioners at 10 o'clock. At this time, do we have any questions from the press?
I have a question for the sheriff.
Sounds like you're on.
At the door already.
He needs more gear on.
Do the permits that you issue, gun permits, or is it carry permits they're called?
Yeah,
Do they
license
remain
carry.
fairly steady, or?
Yeah, it remains steady, 275 to 350 a month, roughly 300 a month,
300 a month?
probably, yeah. About the average.
Trigger locks available at your office, or?
Yes, we have gun locks available at our office.
That's all I have, thank you.
All right,
That was
thank
easy.
you.
Any other questions? I
Okay.
mean, I like easy tests.
Any other questions from the press?
I have one, but would you mind if I asked you briefly after we?
Sure thing. Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, anything else for the good of the order? Okay, then I would take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn the meeting.
Second. That's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Then we are adjourned at 10:31.